Ms. Coleman, take me to the beginning. You went to get a tattoo.
Yes. So, unfortunately, my brother passed away from gun violence.
I'm so very sorry for
Thank
your
you.
loss.
I appreciate
sorry
it.
to hear that.
It's been very hard. It's been very difficult, and I've had this tattoo on my heart for 4 years now, since he's passed, and I happen to have a day off, and it just like you know when somebody does pass away, and you just see signs of them everywhere.
I do.
And I threw myself into work. I didn't know how to deal with it. I've never dealt with somebody so close to me being taken so fast and so violently. And I had all the signs there. I had a day off, and I've been looking up tattoo parlors and tattoo shops, and I stumbled upon a tattoo shop, the one that Mr. Hale works at, happens to be on Instagram, and it happened to be right next to my job. If that wasn't a sign, I didn't know what was.
So you felt it was a sign?
It was absolutely a sign. So many signs. I'm very heavy into spiritualism and also symbolism, Your Honor, and it was a sign, and I happened to have the day off. And so I booked the appointment immediately. I just called into the shop. Somebody answered, didn't get their name, and I walked into the shop. Upon entering the shop, nobody greeted me whatsoever.
That's a lot, Your Honor.
And then I should have took that as a sign. But I was so determined to get this tattoo. It meant so much. Like that's my little brother, right? And there was a male tattoo artist and a female tattoo artist. I wanted the woman tattoo artist for so many reasons because I've had a lot of colorful run-ins and unprofessionalism come from male tattoo artists, unfortunately.
So as I can see, you love to get tattoos. You have many.
Yeah.
So this day you made an appointment at a tattoo shop you'd never been to before.
No, I'm not from, I work in Miami. I'm not from Miami.
Okay, so you'd never been there before, though. And you made that appointment because you felt like it was a sign. It was like all of the things lined up, and you were like, this is the day. This tattoo has been on my heart. This was your younger brother?
Yes, younger brother.
All right, so
by a year and a half.
Sorry. A year and a half
Irish
younger.
twins.
Irish twins, yes. And so, Mr. Hale, when you see this appointment come up, did you book it online?
I just called in.
You called?
I just called in.
And when you called, you didn't ask for a specific person?
So what a lot of tattoo shops do nowadays is they will book you for a time, and then they'll have a bevy of artists, multiple artists, and they'll say, we'll give you whoever's available when you walk in. That's what I'm accustomed to.
So, Mr. Hale, you weren't made aware that this appointment came up, or you were just there and you were assigned to Ms. Coleman when she came in?
Well, I wasn't made aware at all. I just seen an intoxicated woman at the door looking for somebody to get them a tattoo. Now, First off, we don't do people who are intoxicated tattoos at all. We don't do that at all, not at our building. The only thing that caught me to connect with her is she was crying about the death of her brother, and around that same time, I was going through the death of my brother. Because I lost a brother, too, back home. Like, I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
So am I.
Really?
I sure am.
Oh,
7 Mile and Outer Drive. Where are you from?
I'm from 7 Mile I-75.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. You on the other side.
Yeah.
Going towards Luz.
Beirut, yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly where you are.
Yeah.
My father is 7 Mile on the other side, too.
Oh, okay. So basically, I'm saying, like, I know what it feels to lose a brother. So we had that connection. So as soon as she came in, we was talking that, and we had made that connection about her losing her brother. I'm losing my brother, and we sit there having a talk. I asked her, like, hey, what kind of tattoo you wanted, you know what I'm saying? And she said, I wanted to say his name. I said, that's no problem. I do names all day. I at least do 20 to 30 names.
How long have you been doing tattoos?
I've been doing tattoos for 12 years.
Okay, so you're 12 years?
12 years, but I've been at Blue Devil for 6 years.
Okay.
You know.
So your first thing that you testified to when I asked you, and I hadn't even asked you yet, you said you saw a drunk woman.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you had been drinking, Miss Coleman?
No, I was not drunk. He kept saying intoxicated. I was not drunk.
But you had drinks?
No. Well, I work in nightlife. It's nothing new.
That's not the question.
Oh.
Did you have drinks before coming to get the tattoo?
Not necessarily, no.
What, you spilled alcohol all over you?
I'm gonna ask you one more time, and then if you act like you can't answer the question right, this court is going to assume that you was drunk as a skunk.
Okay.
So did you have drinks before you came to get the tattoo?
No.
Okay, you had nothing to
I would have
drink.
bled out more.
So why would they think, had you taken anything?
I did have my normal medication that morning, as I usually do, but that's none of his business.
So the defendant is testifying that the plaintiff was in hysterics. I could say that that's probably true. She was feeling very emotional about her brother and seeing this as a sign to get a tattoo for him. But I feel like if someone, regardless of if they had been drinking or not, if someone is in hysterics and in a very emotional headspace, they probably shouldn't be allowed to get any body modifications. If someone is feeling awful and they're going to make some rash decision about something that is permanent on their body, it might be best to turn her away. But obviously he was feeling very connected to her. He was also dealing with the tragic loss of his brother, so I understand why he wouldn't want to turn her away. However, him assuming that she was drunk and he still chose to tattoo her, even after he said we will not tattoo people who are drunk, doesn't exactly add up.
Well, it's not about it being his business, but once he described you as a drunk woman at the door, it's this court's, I need to understand, right?
Of course.
It's relevant to this court. Now, it also was relevant to him, which is why I wondered why he followed up and still served you, because if you appear to be intoxicated and it is their policy to not service intoxicated people, then why weren't you told that you needed to come back on another day? I would like to offer you that question, Mr. Hale.
Like I said, it was
Because
out
now you're against company policy if you have reason to believe she's intoxicated.
I was, Your Honor. That's why I say when she's got to talking about her brother, it got to me. Like, it got to me on a whole personal level because I'm in a whole same week of the time where I lost my brother. So it's like.
So now
we
you
got
feeling
to
like I'm experiencing
throw
a
away
loss?
the job, throw away everything. I'm with it. I'm with you on this one. And me and her was like having that kind of bond, and during that time it's like
From a tattoo consultation.
yeah,
Okay.
to a family matter.
All right,
feel
no,
like her
I get it.
family
I have lost my brother, and it is, you do have those moments where you meet
Yeah.
people and they have similar loss that people really can't understand until you experience, right? I always say that to people. You won't
Yeah.
understand it until you experience it.
So during the time, I definitely, because she was intoxicated, well, I thought, I didn't know if she was on
Did
medication.
you ask her, have you been drinking? Because she's saying if she had been drinking, there's and I don't have one tattoo, so I'm asking the expert. Is there some connection between drinking and tattoos where you should not drink before getting a tattoo?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor.
because you can bleed more than normal.
And
but-
that's why it's your company policy.
Yes.
And nobody at the shop, no one at the reception desk or anything perceived her to be intoxicated?
They didn't have a conversation with her like I did to notice that she was intoxicated because she was slurring with her words. That's how I knew she was on. And she said she was coming from the bar, where her bar she worked at. And I put two and two together. You coming from the bar, you slurring with your words like this, you gotta be intoxicated.
All right, so Ms. Coleman, you do work at a bar?
I work at a nightclub.
At a nightclub, but
Yes.
it's your testimony that, and what time was this that you came in there?
I came in, my appointment was at 8 o'clock. I did
8 in the morning or 8 at
8
night?
p.m. and
8 p.m.
I did stroll in there a little bit late, about 8:10.
All right,
but
were you at your job before coming
No,
there?
it was my day
Because
off.
it was your day off?
It was my day off.
Okay, so she wasn't at her job before she came there. All right, what is that you're trying to hand me? You have some evidence for the court?
Absolutely. I have quite a bit of evidence.
Please
So,
give it to.
do you want the whole folder?
Yes, please.
Sure thing. So the consultation was very short. I don't know where these claims of an elaborate conversation is coming from before he started tattooing.
Thank you, Sean.
We still had to go over a stencil agreement. I agreed to very specific, very short form script, not full on cursive. And I agreed upon a very simple stencil that just said MARCUS. And
Your
then we
brother's
started.
name,
Yes, and then we
Marcus.
started Marcus.
So you agreed upon that?
Yes.
Do you remember that conversation, Mr. Hale?
Yes, I remember, and I got the stencil with me. Oh, I got the stencil with me too. Can I give it to you, Your Honor?
Yes, you
I
can.
got the stencil with me too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I asked her multiple times. Because I knew she was intoxicated. I said, "Is this what you want?" Usually, I only got to show the stencil once or twice. Her, I showed 5 times for a reason. because
And
to
so
be fact
explain
out.
to this court what went wrong as to the reason why you're here.
I'm here because not only was it a very simple tattoo, a very simple request, as well as it is of my deceased brother who is no longer here, which you understand how that is. It's also the gross emotional negligence. Like, I've never been so gaslit in my life, as well as like,
Listen, I know this.
I'm sorry.
I know this is upsetting because this was a way to honor your brother, a tribute, and it didn't go right.
He doesn't care.
And so you wanted to honor your brother. Let's take a minute.
It's not like I don't care, Your
And the
Honor.
tattoo did not come out the way you wanted because, as I can see from the evidence you presented, there's a letter that's off on the tattoo.
It's a very simple spelling, and also it's a very common name in the Black community, so I think he know how to spell Marcus. It looks like it says Marcos. And so after the tattoo, we had a great conversation, and I entrusted this man, and it's not an easy conversation to have, Your Honor.
I can see what she's saying, that it kind of looks like it says Marcos with the dove over the U. I don't have any tattoos, but I've gone with friends to get their tattoos. And typically, there's going to be a transfer on your skin that you can look at and see whether or not it's exactly how you want it. So I'm finding it kind of hard to believe that he just free-handed this without it already being on her skin for her to approve. I don't know. When I look at this, I see Marcus. But obviously this is a very emotional thing for her and she's upset about it. But I also feel like people get tattoos that they don't like all the time. And even though, yes, this is a very sentimental tattoo, it's a heartbreaking story, that doesn't necessarily entitle her to suing him just because she doesn't like the way the tattoo turned out.
You showed the stencil
Yes,
And
5
you-
times.
5 times?
5 times.
Now, why do you show the stencil 5 times?
Because I told you she was slurring with her. She was intoxicated. I don't care what she said. She was intoxicated. Something wasn't right with her, and I figured she
My
just
brother's dead.
I understand. I lost a brother too. That's what you not understand. I lost a brother too. I feel you on that. That's the only reason why I did your tattoo. And at the same time, she was being very flirtatious, and she was
Oh my
looking at me.
What did I
saying
just say,
how
Your
big
Honor,
my
about these
arm
colorful
is.
run-ins?
So what is
These
it
colorful run-ins.
when you look at this tattoo, Mr. Hale, did you think her brother's name was Marcos or Marcus?
Marcus.
And so
I know it
in
says
your
Marcus.
testimony is that this does say Marcus.
That does say Marcus, yes.
This says Marcus.
That say Marcus.
And
if
what-
you look at the dove right on
and the
top.
dove is sitting across the U.
Yes.
So, Ms. Coleman, I need to ask you, when he gave you this stencil and he says 5 times, we're here, right? Before we make this permanent, because tattoos are permanent.
Right.
This is what you want. And you said yes.
I did not know that my tattoo came with a whole bird. I didn't ask for a bird.
Well, if the tattoo didn't have the bird on it, it said Marcus. So there was no bird on the stencil you showed her?
Yes, it had the dove on it.
It had the dove on it.
Yes.
Do you have anywhere where she signed off on this?
No, Your Honor.
They had no waivers whatsoever at that shop. They didn't even have a receptionist desk. It was 2 chairs, 2 beds, and some hopes and some dreams and some prayers in there.
Okay, girl, I'm starting to feel like this might be a little bit your fault. You clearly have tattoos, and you walk into a tattoo shop that has no receptionist, no paperwork, no nothing, but because it's a sign from the universe that you need to go to this shop, you just decide that it's gonna be fine. I do think that this tattoo says Marcus with a dove conveniently placed over the U, which definitely wasn't the best option, but it's there. And on the defendant's side, he's saying that she was slurring her words. That's why he had her check 5 times. But sir, if she's slurring her words, why are you tattooing her in the first place?
Out of all the tattoo shops, after you have been a person that gets tattoos all your life, you decide to go in there. So the $5,000 in damages, let me get to that.
Okay.
This is your sheet of the damages. You say, oh, you had to go and have it removed.
Yes, I did. So,
And it took you 4 sessions.
4 sessions of ink removal. That was my first time getting lasered.
And so now you've already tattooed over it?
Yes.
So you had to do ink removal, and then you had to get something on
a blackout cover up.
So $4,100. What is the other $900 from the cost of the tattoo?
$400 too much on the Marcos with the bird, and also emotional damages, and then the other $500 to get the cover up, because a lot of tattoo artists do not like going over other artists' work.
Oh, the custom lettering was $400.
So there is a flower, and then there is a blackout, because it was just so bad. I didn't want to look at it. It was a deeper scar. It just added to my wounds.
Okay.
As far as just like, I had to look at that mess.
I've heard enough. This case here is, well, number one, it's sad because the reason why you went in there was to pay tribute to your brother.
Yeah.
I think you had good intentions. I think no matter how you choose to express grief or move through grief, it's yours and yours alone, right? We all work through it ourselves. I too lost my brother. I've lost my entire family. So I know that pain. And I know how difficult that is. And I know how you feel like any sign that you see is a sign. You want it to be a sign. You need it to be a sign. Yeah. And so that day you felt like you had that sign and you went in there and you wanted to get the tattoo. Ms. Coleman, my issue with this is that you said, I went to a tattoo place I'd never been to before. Mm-hmm. I went to a tattoo artist I'd never been before. You said you took your medication. Mr. Hale says you were kind of slurring. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I do know is no one's just gonna start tattooing you. Now for you, Mr. Hale, I think you also have some issues here in terms of negligence. Number one, you just testified in open court as soon as the case started that you took a client that you should have never ordinarily took. However, you decided that you were going to do it. And because of that, you end up in this legal situation, and it's disappointing for everybody. And I think both of you had no reason. You had no business being the customer that day, and you had no business serving this customer. And for that reason, both of you, this court finds that both of you were negligent, and you need to split the difference on these costs. Judgment for the plaintiff for $2,500. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $2,500.
Do you have any final thoughts with each other?
A little bit of hooked on phonics can go a long way.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, follow me this way, please.
I have my money. That's all you need to worry about.
You owe me.
I can afford it. You
You
can't.
owe me $2,500.
I can afford it.
Did you hear that?
Can't.
Well, that's kind of exactly how I was expecting this case to go. Like I said, they both have fault in this situation. She shouldn't have gone to a tattoo parlor where she didn't know about it before. There was no paperwork to sign. It was just him and some other girl in a building. Definitely a bunch of red flags that she ignored because of some sign that made her feel connected to her brother. Also, I feel like the original tattoo so much better than the cover-up that she had done. I still see that it says Marcus with the dove on top. I understand that she didn't like it, but it did look better. Now, as far as the defendant is concerned, he definitely has an attitude problem and definitely did not exercise his own good discernment when taking her in as a client. I think it's obvious that they both were in a weird headspace talking about their mutual loss, and I do feel for both of them. However, they both definitely let that cloud their judgment. Unfortunately, they have to pay for that. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on this case. Do you think it was right to have them split the cost? Do you think that they both had fault in the situation? Do you think that it says Marcus or Marcos? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like and a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.